Hi, today is July 4th, 2026, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 1025 for the year Red, White, and Blue number 4. All the way back in May, I painted a painting of the American flag, thinking it might be a fine cover for my July book. Over the course of last month, I made a red, white, and blue scribble, red, white, and blue number 1, and spotted a flag on a subway car, red, white, and blue number 2, and noticed the colors on the subway map, red, white, and blue number 3. And here we are at red, white, and blue number 4. I thought these first 4 days of poems would be full of love and hate letters to the country of my birth, but so far there have only been a few poems that reference the 250th birthday at all. I often don't feel things when I'm supposed to feel them. Tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, maybe I will feel patriotic, or maybe I will feel like ripping my nation a new asshole. Time will tell. Today it's all I can do to just say HBD USA, maybe write a few more poems about it and more or less leave it at that. Poem number 1026, Tall Ships. 50 years ago, when I was 15 and Ford was president, there was a bicentennial. There was all this talk about how there would be tall ships sailing on the Hudson. I went and I saw the tall ships and I was like, who gives a shit? I mean, I was 15, but honestly, I'd probably be like, who gives a shit today as well. Poem number 1027, Past. 50 years ago, 200 years ago seemed like a long, long time ago. Now, 250 years ago doesn't seem that long ago at all. As time passes, the distant past draws closer, and the recent past becomes but a blink. Poem number 1028, All the Same. When I was 13, my grandmother Helen self-published a book that her mother Julia had written about herself and her mother Nancy. In that book, Nan of Tennessee and the Girl Who Was Me, I learned that my grandmother's grandmother had a slave. My guilt about this was not mitigated when years later I learned that I was not biologically related to the Halls, or the Parkers, or the Wests, or the Blankenships, as I inherited the benefits and privileges all the same. Poem number 1029, America. To celebrate, I did the most patriotic thing I could think of. I read Allen Ginsberg's poem America out loud to myself. I loved it, as I had loved it when I was a kid, except for the N-word, which I had to kind of muffle, even though I was the only one in the room. America, I've given you all, and now I'm nothing, and on it goes, and I remembered how I ripped this one off for a poem I wrote called How Much Longer, which is on the Real Men album. I could just quote lines from it and comment on how prophetic and vaguely obscene and beautiful the poem is and how much it still resonates with me, but I think I would do better to suggest that on this 250th birthday, the most patriotic thing you could do is the most patriotic thing I did. Read America by Allen Ginsberg. Poem number 130, Red, White, and Blue number 5. Red, the color of spilled blood. White, the color of supremacy, of privilege. Blue, the color of the blues, of the suffering and the joy that bursts out singing, that lifts every voice. Poem number 1031, Red, White, and Blue number 6. When I used to look at the flag, I felt anger and disappointment, a sense of betrayal. A little later, I learned to laugh at the lie as I cried for the broken hearts and somehow successfully stopped myself from being driven insane by the insanity. Nowadays, I look at the flag and I feel nothing, nothing, nothing. This is both an improvement and a retrogression, both acceptance and denial, both verdict and a trial. And that was the last one of the day. I appreciate you. Happy birthday, America.